Hello and welcome back. Good day from wherever you're watching from. I trust you are fine. Today is the third day of our training session, and I hope you are catching up and don't get discouraged. Keep the fire going. Okay, I'm rooting for you. I am rooting for you. You are going to do excellently well. All right. So. In our last class, we talked about Salesforce, user interface, and architecture. So, a quick one. Let me just mention this. I come across a tricky question, something like what's the difference between Sales Cloud and Sales Console? Apparently, it's the same, because I know that in the assignment I gave you, I asked you to do some search, and you might come across talking about console or cloud. So don't mix it up. It is absolutely the same thing. It is not really two different things. I'm going to go into my screen right now to show you that it is just the same thing. It's just doing the same thing from different points of view. Okay. Now, right here on my screen, I have the Sales Cloud interface or the home page, right? Can you see? I'm on the home page of my Sales Cloud. Okay, so if I want to check for Sales Console, okay, what I simply need to do is, I will move to the super hand, right? The master hand, like where we get to do all our back ends. Okay, so I come here to the gear, this gear, click on it and click on setup, right? That should not give you an issue anymore. I believe that going forward, I don't have to keep calling it the super head or super user space. Okay, so I just need to come to this place, the app launcher, and search for console. Let's see. Can you see? Sales Console. Now I want to show you something very important right now. You observe something. You see this interface we are getting. It's still the same thing that we have here as our Sales Cloud. Whereas this is Sales Console. Can you see the same thing? The only difference is in your Sales Cloud, the tabs, all these are called tabs, all these navigation tabs. The tabs are horizontal, while in the console is vertical. That's all. It still contains the same thing. You see your home, lead, account, contact, opportunities, campaign. Same as you have with your home, opportunity, lead, task, account, contact, campaign, dashboard, and all. Okay, so don't at any point get that mixed up. Console and cloud still refers to the same thing, right? Let me also show you something. I don't know if I mentioned in the last class. Peradventure, when you are trying to create a new user, some of you might experience this. For those that tried what we did in the last class, okay, you realize that upon creating the user, it's some way just hop onto another kind of interface. That interface is the classic mode. Okay, we know what we are working on presently is the Lightning experience mode. Why it can just naturally come that way. At times it happens. Okay, let me just show you what I'm saying. That is, the user can just happen to have this classic interface. That is this whole interface. And don't be surprised, you might get to work with some hooks whereby some users, due to the fact that this is what they are familiar with, this interface they know how to work with, naturally they will just always want to come back here to do their work. Everything on the Lightning experience is still here, but just look at it. It's definitely a older interface, right? That's why Salesforce created the Lightning experience. So to go back, you just come back here and click on switch to Lightning experience interface. Okay, so and voila, we're back there. Alright, so that's that. This particular thing I want to say now, please, I'm going to beg you. Somehow, looks like this is coming out in almost every, and I'm sure I'm still going to keep emphasizing on it. Your assignment, always do it. No one is taking full track of whatever you do and you don't do, but if you do it, it's for your own good. It helps. That is your learning process. That is your stage of learning. That's where you get to really learn, because you're going to come across challenges, and overcoming it and getting it solved on its own prepare you for the market. Okay, I want this course to be able to, get you ready, like you are already practicing or working with this tech skill in this niche, such that you don't need to start huddling or looking for work experience. Okay, that's part of what it. And the assignments you're going to be given, it's more like something you have to build upon. So by the time we get to the future classes, the task you'll be given to do would be based on the things you've done before. So it's more like you're creating a standard work here. So make sure you always do something. I cannot overemphasize the need for that. I will just always say it. So please always do your assignment. Okay, without further ado, let's get down to today's topic, and a very interesting one at that. Object, field, and record. Object, field, and record. This is so crucial because from now till the end of this course, we will always make use of objects, we always make use of field, we always make use of, because so it's like a very strong aspect of Salesforce. So you have to pay attention and understand everything I'm going to be explaining to you here today. It marks like it is like your core foundation for your Salesforce administration journey. Okay, every day we're going to talk about it, so you're going to get familiar with it. Like I've always said, like I mentioned in the last class, many of all these things you don't need to cram it or try to say you want to put a lot of them on your head. No. You just realize that you sink into it over time. Okay, so no stress, don't bother, just take it one step at a time. Okay, so all update, field, and record, what do we mean by that? In your day-to-day activity, don't worry, we are going to be really getting our hands into doing some things today. So you see, we are just having just one page. Okay, so in the real life day-to-day activities, right? If you have a container, right, or let me say a bag of rice, you know that what you keep inside will only be rice. You will not put this inside that bag. It will mix up. Okay, that is one illustration. I'm going to give you a better and clearer illustration. Let me open my Excel sheet. Here. You see this sheet 1. Okay, I'm going to create multiple sheets. Okay, let's say sheet 1, sheet 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we want to use this sheet 1 to collect a data set for, let's say, accounts, right? Accounts. I want to use this to collect data set for leads. Let's say I want to use this to collect data set for what can we use? Let's say health status, health. Let's say we want to use this, want to collect for legal. Let's say legal. Okay, now you know that I haven't created all of this. Now you're not going to come up here and start telling me, okay, things you want to, the data you need. Let's say for account, you need name, you need address, you need phone number, let's say you need email, okay, then you can now start giving whatever, let's call this AG, address so and so, phone number so and so, email, ag@gmail.com. Hold on, you are going to understand. I'm trying to get something here. Okay. Alright, now this, what we have on this row 2 is your data. On these columns are requirements that you need for this guy accounts, right? So now in Salesforce, this sheet would rather be called object. The requirements you have here will be called field, and the data itself are record. I hope that is clear. I'm going to go back again. This here, this workspace, this sheet or this tab is on Salesforce called object, like the container that contains information that are related to that particular subject. These columns that contains the requirements that you want to get, name, address, phone number, email, are the fields, while the data set itself are record. Okay, as simple as that. As simple as that. Object, field, and record. Okay, let me further break it down. Take for instance, you go to a bank, they give you forms to fill, right? They give you forms to fill, right? So now, in the form, okay, now you are trying to open a bank account. That bank account is an object. In the form you are given, those requirements, they are fields, that is, they are meant to collect some data, right? So those requirements are fields, while your own data that you are filling in there is record. Basically, that's what it is. Let me go to my hub so I can show you something. Let me see. Let's click on lead and see what we've got here. Lead is an object. Okay. I'll create new so you understand what I'm saying. Lead is an object. All these slots to be filled are called field. All these salutation, first name, last name, they are called field, while the data set itself is called record. That is what you have here. Can you see that this is example of the data that Salesforce naturally just provide for us? They're like out of the box kind of. They come along with your hub. We'll get to what is called in a moment. Okay. So this is the record. Data box size is the record. Brander. What exactly? I can't really pronounce that well. Is a record. Okay. Let me give one. So I'll open this. Okay. So all these are records, but these are fields that are required to be filled. As simple as that. I hope that is clear enough. Okay, so that will take me to the next point here, bullet point here. You know, we said we'll talk about object, field, record, right? So if we talk about objects, we talk about it is all related, it's together. Okay, Object is like the container, field are the requirements, while records are the data. Object the container, fields the requirements, record the data. Please try to understand that. Okay. So the next now is types of object and field. Basically, there are two types, which are the custom object and which are the custom objects and standard objects, right? Good. So back to our hub. From the word custom and standard, I think if I just tell what that means. Standard as in follow come. That's the right package. I call it follow come. They come along with Salesforce org. You don't create it, you meet it there. You know, you can observe that going into my org now, I didn't actually created all of this. They are there. If you go into your own org, you also see it, right? Those are standard. While custom object, from the word customize, that is, you are the one creating it. Okay, you are bringing it into the org. You are bringing that requirement into the org. So, and this is always done based on requirements. Okay, we need you to create an object for us whereby we used to collect so and so data. So it is the requirement that is being sent to you that will use to create the objects and the field respectively. Okay, so we are going to be going ahead to create object and field soon, very soon. So you are going to see what we mean by that. But basically, there are two types of object and field. We have the custom object and the standard object. We also have the custom field and standard field. That is fields that you meet that comes along with the creation. Now you know that. Let me take that over again. Okay, let me take it again. Object is like the container, right? We already know that standard objects come with the org. It is there, so you are not doing anything about that. Now, custom objects, you are the one creating it. Okay, let me back into our org again. Opportunity is an object, lead is an object, task is an object. All these things are objects. Inside an object, you find fields, right? So which means if we are creating a custom object, the container will still be empty. Then you are not going to be the one to create it because the fields are inside the objects. So you are the one creating those custom fields. We are also going to be doing that and you are going to get it. Okay. If you are not getting it now, just follow through. We are going to be creating the fields inside the object. So now, upon creation of the fields, there are still some standard field that will come along with that object. That once you are creating the object carries some standard object, some standard field. Exactly. So we are going to get there now, and you are going to see what I am talking about, right? Okay, so now basically, how do you identify which object is custom, which object is standard? Okay, going to my org, I'm going to be showing you some things. Okay, we'll go to our backend, right? Let me go back here. Okay, so this is our backend. Now I'm going to be clicking on Object Manager. So this is listing out all the objects we have on the hub right now. We have 51 plus items. Can you see? Type standard. So you can keep going. Okay, we have some here. Custom. I was the one that created all this one. Okay. Let me skip that part. Okay. So let's just keep going. So basically, One thing that is particular to custom objects, you will see it has _C. That shows it is custom. You will always see it there. So even if you don't come to this part where you can actually take a look at it, once you see the API name, it's going to come with _C. That shows that it is custom object. Okay, so now let's get into the deal of the day. Let's create our custom object and field if possible. Alright. Then that's not touched. Alright, so how to create custom objects, right? So all you just need to do is come to this object manager. We are already there. Then come to create. You can also use Schema Builder. Schema Builder is also one way to create objects, but we'll get to that. If not this class, in the next class, right? Click on create, then click on custom objects. Right? Everything, most of all we do is just click, drag here and there, click. That's just it. We are not writing code. And oh God, this tool is very powerful. Salesforce is very powerful tool. Okay, so moving on. Then label. Now, whatever we create now will be what we're going to be working on alongside the training. In the future class, I'm going to switch over to one because I start making some recordings. So, and I don't want to delete them. Okay. Now, there's a culture with Salesforce. You don't just delete things anyhow. Because something you've created might really have relationship with something else, somewhere else, and when you delete it, you just mess up your work. So deleting things is something you have to be skeptical about. Okay, so what objects should we create? I'll say we should do something like mega. Should we create insurance? Okay, maybe we'll use insurance along the line later. Let's use healthcare. Healthcare. Let's create an object for healthcare. Alright? Let's call it healthcare. Alright. Plural label. Let me just call it health. Let's not complicate. Health. Okay. Right. Look at for health doesn't have a plural version, the plural form. Okay, that's like health. For example, accounts. Okay, so let's just click for health. Start with vowel sound. No. Object name. This is the API name. Okay, and see it as this is the API name. Then the description is a very good habit in Salesforce to always add description, because you may have created an object and forgotten what exactly it's meant for. So the description reminds you. Generally in tech, it is always a good thing to always add description to whatever you are doing, even in programming. Okay, so let's say this helps to track the health status of workers. Okay, so the next thing here, open instances for open content name. So let's reverse down. Can you see data type? This data type now is crucial. This data type is one of the things that prompts that standard field that I mentioned earlier, that we are naturally going to find in the object upon creation of this object. Okay, so now we have text or auto number. What that simply means is, if you want it to be text, which means the user are going to be the one that will enter the name. But if you put it on auto number, it will just number the records, like 1, 2, 3, like so. The next person creating a new record will follow the number through. That's why it's auto number or text. So let's just leave this one as text, right? That is auto number. Now that is for label and format. Optional features, this please. For now, it's best you just click everything. In the future classes, we are going to be going in depth into what everything means. But for now, you can click everything. But let me just show you something. This allow report. That eventually, if you want to create reports, like this is a little tricky. Okay, if you want to create reports on what you are doing, or a superior request for a dashboard or a report that can just show a quick overview of what the record looks like, statistics, something kind of, yeah. This will allow this object to be open to that function. Okay, then allow activities. For now, just click everything. Okay, you get to understand everything later. Allow sharing, blah 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 blah. Yes. Then this in development and deployed, it simply means when you put in development, just you and the admins, other admins will be able to see this particular object. But once you put it in deployed, every other users will be able to see it. So for now, still put it in development because it's still in development. Then allow search. This allow search simply means you can search for it here. Okay. Then add notes and launch new custom tab. You click it. Then the next thing is to click save. Now we have save and new. Save and new, you only use save and new in case whereby you want to create another object instantly, instead of starting to go and create new blah blah blah. Just click save and new. But for this are just going to be using save. Okay. Alright. It's taking us to start. You can somehow find yourself in a situation whereby this tab will not come up. I experienced it and I struggle with it so much that it will not just come here, it will just save down and you start looking for the object, you will not see it. Instead of it to come out here where you can see other objects lined up here, you will not see it. You will search for it, you will not see it. It's because it is not in tab. And that is from the last tick down there that I clicked. Allow tabs. Okay, so to go ahead, just pick a color for it. Just okay, let me use apple, blah blah blah. Short description, like I wrote the last time. Okay. So let me write this helps to track the health status of the locals. Okay, so then I'll click next. The next one here we have here is a set of user permissions, whatever. We're going to get to permission setting like the next 2 or 3 classes ahead, but for now just click next, and save. Voila, our custom object has been created. Custom object has been what? Created. Now let's go and confirm that. I'm going to click here, go down to, can you see else, custom object, description. This helps to track the health status of workers. Easy peasy. And go ahead and try it, create as multiple objects as you want. Just play around with it. You can, okay, take for instance, you find yourself in one video that you realize that before that your object is not showing here. Can you even see that? We don't have it here. Health, it's not there, right? What you just need to really click on this drop down for more. Okay, it's not yet completed. Let me refresh it. It's not refreshed. So I'm going to click here, click on more, and voila, our health is already here. So but we don't have anything created inside. It's still almost empty. Okay, so that's that. So the next thing is to go ahead and create a field inside the object, right? We can confirm that this thing is here. So next time we now want to move it up so that we can easily see it. You just come to this pencil icon right here, this pencil, click on it, and then you have all the objects, so you can easily drag it and move it to the top. Stay with you. Okay, good. Then you click on save, right? And voila, this is our health here. Let it move upward. Okay, so that's that. The next now is creating our custom field. I hope you understand up to this point. If for one reason or another you don't get it, just go over it again and watch it. It is a very simple procedure. Okay, so now the next thing is we'll go to the object, right? You can easily search for it here. Say health. Okay. This object. Next, all of these are going to go through it one by one in common classes, and realize that there's a lot to learn, but then by the time you master all of these things, the hot cake. Okay, so the next thing is field and relationships, right? So I click on it, then the same pattern, you click on name. This is a little long. I'm not sure we're going to go in depth to this, but I'm just going to mention one or two. Now, the field has different categories of how it works. Okay, can you see we have this auto number? This auto number was what we found in creating our object earlier on. Formula, right? If you want to make a formula, look up master, let's leave all of that. But let me look for something easy. Text, phone number, email. These are the type of containers you can create inside of the type of sub containers you can create inside the object. Let me just create text. Let me just use text for what we need it for. I'm going to click on text and click on next. Then else. So let's call the first one name. The length, I'm going to give it 50. You can type it here if yours is not prompting. Because I've worked with it, that's why it's prompting up like that. Field name, description, name of worker, right? Enter your name. Okay, should we make it a required or a unique? Let's leave this ones, because along the line you realize that if you make it required in a situation whereby you need to import large volume of data, if those particular record is missing, it will not function well. That command will not function well. All those are very features, so let's not do them. So for now, just leave it empty. Then click on next. All of this, click on this, click on next. Then we are going to use save and name, because we just want to create like 3 different stuffs here. Good. We are back to picking the type of field we want again, right? So this time around, let me use let me click on checkbox. Next. So what do we want the question for the checkbox should be? Let's say, are you are you vaccinated? Are you insured? Are you vaccinated? Let's say vaccinated. So field label, are you should we use that kind of checkbox? Checkbox. You know what checkbox is? Just it's sick. Let me leave it. Are you vaccinated? Okay. Default on check. Once I click on this field name, it automatically prompts it out. This field confirms vaccine status. Vaccine status. Okay. I'm going to leave this because I'm trying to rush. Next. I'm leaving all of this. Click next. Save my name. I choose again another field I want to create. You know, just like you're creating all those multiple requirements, right? Okay, so this one now, for this one I want to create number. Let me use a number field, right? Next, let's call this phone number. Right? Then the thing, field name, material comes in. Let's use enter help text instead. So let me say enter your phone number. Right? Okay. So then I click next. And this time I'm just going to save it, right? I don't want to create a new one. So all of those has been created. Okay, so now we've created that. Can you see name, phone number, are you vaccinated here, right? So we are going to go back to our user end to check how it works. Okay, so I'm going to refresh here so that you see whatever the update we've done there is going to update on the user end. Okay, so now we're already in our health objects, right? So I'm going to click name. Now what I'm doing is trying to create a record. That is, I want to enter details. I want to enter data into that form we've created. Okay, so now we are creating a record. We've created a field. We can see that these fields are actively working. Look at the name, the are you vaccinated, checkbox, the phone number, and this healthcare is a standard field that come along with creation of that object. Instead of that auto number, we click text. So it's that text that brought about this text area here, right? Okay, so I'm going to be filling this now, and the fact that I'm filling it means I'm giving it data, and that data we said is what? Record. Okay, over time we're going to get familiar with all of this, the more we keep using it. Yeah. Okay, so let me just call this GIG, nothing serious. Let me just assume it is an insurance company. Okay, so I'm going to give it the name Jonas. Okay, it's there already. Are you vaccinated? Yes. Phone number, I'm going to do something tricky. I'm going to try to enter alphabet. You know, we used a number field to create it. Remember, the first one we used text, we used checkbox, and we used number. So I'm going to try to enter an alphabet into this phone number. Let's see how it looks. I see enter valid numeric value. So this now helps me control what you should enter in which area, right? So definitely all I just have to enter here is number. So I'll assume this is the number. Okay, so then I'm going to hit save, and voila, this is our first record. I'm going to click on this LTK, so it's going to come in later and clear from. Can you see GIG? If I click on this now, it's going to give us the details of that particular record. I hope you understand. Okay. So in the next class, we are going to continue and go in depth on fields and move on to the next topic. See you later. Bye.